Welcome into Seattle Seahawks today. I am your host, Tom Downey, and we are doing a Seahawks 7-round mock draft, which is kind of a bit deceptive because the Seahawks do not have 7 rounds worth of picks. In fact, they only have 3. Now, the good news for Seattle is they've done a good job of filling needs in free agency. They've taken care of some of their key areas and don't have to take one particular area with their first pick, which is a second rounder at number 56 overall. Here are the team's 3 selections. As of now, no trades projected yet. 56 overall in round 2. 129 overall in round 4, and then a 7th rounder all the way down at number 250. Those are not very many draft picks, and in fact, the reality is that the Seahawks are simply not going to be able to fill all of their needs. Number 1 cornerback, number 2 receiver, I got center 3, offensive tackle 4, D tackle 5. They're not going to be able to address all of those unless, of course, they end up with some trades. Now, if you guys want a mock draft with trades, then I want you guys to subscribe. Hit that big red button, and in the not too distant future, I promise you guys we will do a mock draft that has trades, giving Seattle even more draft capital. Let's get to the pick here then, and we'll break down what players went off the board before Seattle was on the clock here at 56. Trey Smith, Alex Leatherwood, both gone. Would have loved those guys. Eric Stokes would be a perfect fit, but he goes 46 to the Patriots. 2 notable receivers also leave. Amon-Ra St. Brown out of USC at 52, and Rondell Moore at 51 out of Purdue. So there were some notable players on the clock still. Asante Samuel, Aaron Robinson, I like them. Probably best as nickel corner, especially in Seattle's scheme. Liam Eichenberg, a really good value there, almost went that route. Thought strongly about Elijah Moore. In fact, Elijah Moore would have been the draft pick had Landon Dickerson not been on the board at number 56. He's coming off a true breakout year for the Alabama Crimson Tide. He's played every spot on the offensive line, but in the NFL, he's an interior lineman. And even though he's coming off the torn ACL in the title game, I think he's the best interior lineman in this year's class. I think you draft him. You don't have to rush him into starting because you have Ethan Posick there who can handle that role okay-ish. But at some point in year 1, I think Dickerson would supplant Posick as the team starter. And I think by the end of the year, if of course he recovers properly, which I think he should, maybe you saw him doing cartwheels at his pro day, I think he'd be a upgrade over Ethan Posick. These stats all courtesy of our friends over at Pro Football Focus. 1 sack, 2 hits, 2 hurries, and a run grade below 93. He is a fantastic prospect. Yes, he's older. Yes, he's got the injuries. But in terms of just player value, oh, he is fantastic. So who do you guys want the Seahawks to draft? Get your votes in for me in the comments section. I'm not going to factor in a trade up here. So if the Seahawks stay at pick 56, who is your ideal target for them? I think, still a bit unrealistic, but it is possible. I think Dickerson would be the best possible option. Let's go to round 4 now. Again, some picks that just went off the board. I would have taken either Jalen Darden or Paulson Adebo had they been there. A slot receiver and a really good outside corner. Heartbroken to see both of those guys off the board. Christensen was also a fairly intriguing fit. Now, in previous mock drafts, I've actually given Demetric Felton to Seattle. But let's go different here. Let's not make him the selection. If you want a guard, Aaron Bakes fits the Damian Lewis-style mold. Ambry Thomas, Tony Fields, 2 under-the-radar players I like as a early to mid day 3 selection. If you had told me this time last year, hey, Shaun Wade's there in round 4, I would have said, no, he's not. Then he had a terrible year, and I still don't want him for Seattle. Instead, I will get a new slot receiver, Shi Smith out of South Carolina. I think he's a pretty straightforward evaluation. He's a slot receiver in the NFL. He doesn't quite have the same athletic juice that some of the other guys going earlier bring, but he's coming off his best year ever and fits in quite nicely as a number 3 receiver. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, let them operate on the outside. Bring in Shi Smith. Let him be your pure slot. Yes, Lockett can still line up there, and that's fine with me. but a combination of Metcalf, Lockett, Smith, and still Freddie Swain, I think is a pretty solid start for your top 4 receivers. The production was better this year for Smith. I will make note, South Carolina, had bad quarterback play. That's also why they ran so many screens and gave some increased volume to Shi Smith. But I would have loved someone a little bit more electric in the receiving game, but those guys were pretty much off the board at that point. Now, what do you guys think is the Seattle Seahawks' single biggest draft need? Is it interior defensive line? Is it corner, receiver, somewhere on the O-line, any spot that you want? I think those are all pretty realistic there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, the Seahawks' biggest draft need. Today's show is presented by the number 1 sportsbook out there, that is BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet, link right there, bottom of your screen. If you're trying to place some bets on maybe Gonzaga, for example, to win the NCAA tournament, do it with BetUS. If your bracket's busted, mine's not yet, thank you, Zags. You can make up some money you lost by using our promo code Seahawks125. It gets you a 125% deposit bonus. Chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Seahawks125. And now to round 7. Buddy Johnson off the board. I thought about going linebacker because depth's a need there. The Oregon corner, he was gone. Chris Evans is a fun piece, but they brought back Chris Carson, so not really there. Alaric Jackson, I might have gone that route had he fallen to me at pick 250. Instead, these were some of the guys on the board for me. Ryan Hubert, who I actually kind of like as a late day 3 pick. Shane Buechele, if you want a better backup quarterback. I thought about Khyiris Tonga. He's fun. I have no idea where he goes, but he's a good football player. And I almost went with Patty Fisher as well, the linebacker from Northwestern. But I wanted to give a shout out to one of my favorite sleepers this year. Tay Gowan, the cornerback out of Central Florida, a potential sleeper pick. Now, he's skinny, has only decent arm length, but he is a very good athlete. And I think he probably is going to need at least one redshirt developmental year, which is great, because I'm probably going to have that option regardless of who I take in round 7. And with Witherspoon on a 1-year deal, DJ Reed's contract coming up soon, same with Trey Flowers, taking someone whom I can develop and possibly stash in the practice squad makes sense. Now again, these stats coming in from Pro Football Focus, this is appealing. This level of production in only 1 year is not often found on a late day 3 pick, and that's why I think he might be off the board earlier. 40% allowed through the air against, yes, lesser competition, under 300 yards, 2 interceptions, 2 pass breakups. You might not have heard of the name Tay Gowan, but if you haven't, I love him a lot as a day 3 sleeper with incredible upside. So grade this mock draft for me. A, B, C, D, or F. How'd I do? I only have so many draft picks. Only got the 3 there. So get your votes in. And if you need a reminder in terms of who I took, I got you covered. Landon Dickerson. That alone should make this mock draft an A from me. No bias whatsoever. Shi Smith in round 4. And sleeper Tay Gowan in round 7.